Hello everybody and welcome back. I'm Lincoln and today's the 26th, which means our prompt was web, and that's a pretty easy one, but I'm going to show you how to do this two different ways so we have some options on how to do something like this. Alright, I'm going to put up the rest of the prompt list now. I'm also going to show you how to use the paint tool so you can lay out your spider web if you like to do it that way instead. Hey, let's grab your iPad or other device. Let's go make a spider web so you got someplace to put your spider tomorrow. Alright, so for the spider web, I'm going to show you a couple different ways to go about this. First, we're going to add a box. We'll validate it. We're going to come up and ring this up to, maybe around 700. This will be a little bit better. And I know I normally go around 5, but 7 will be better for the stamp. Okay, so it's remeshed and you can see we got some pretty good wire there. Alright, next we're going to grab the stamp brush. Now we're going to come in and I'm going to show you, I have this stamp right here. So if you click on it, you can see you've got all these in here and you can import and bring them in, and I will link to a video showing you how to do the alphas in Procreate if you've never done them before. So the next thing is down here, the fall off. I'm using, just a single line on the Catmull ROM. You can use the preset if you like, but if you do, you're just going to want to bring the intensity way down. Otherwise this thing will be like super tall and we don't really want that. So I prefer this when I'm using the stamp brush. We'll use grab dynamic radius. Okay, so that's pretty much it for the setup on the stamp. Let's turn the symmetry off, otherwise you'll get, because if you do, you'll get 2, so we don't want that. So we'll leave symmetry off and just stamp and pull, and that's a little out, so let's try right there. That's better. All right, so now that we have that stamped, you can see though that the side of this, the wire is real stretched. You got those squares are stretched really long. So let's fix that. And you can see the resolution came up a little bit. So at this point you can drop the resolution down. It's just a matter of having the clean edges when you pull the stamp. So you can remesh at a lower topology and it'll be okay. It won't pixelate too much, I don't think. Most of the time you're okay doing it like that. Turn the wire off, and if you do that, it makes it a little bit easier when we go to trim. You don't have nearly as much to trim off, or you do, but it won't be, the topology won't be as high and it'll be faster. So it will still going to take a minute. So come down and trim this. And it usually does take a minute. All right, so there, whoops, gizmo, there we go. Now this will happen if because we cut once and then cut again, didn't remesh, and you can see here you've got, you got this, webbing, no pun intended, on both sides right there. All we have to do to fix that most of the time, this will work, is just come back up, maybe 600 this time and remesh, and that'll all go away mostly. Still have a few right there. So for these, if you've got an issue with that, just come in, tap on the front, grab your trim brush, go to lasso, and this happens sometimes. It doesn't always happen, but you can just cut those out. Not a big deal. Usually it comes out pretty clean. You can always backstep and try it, so that will be fine. Not a big deal. Easy fix. All right, next step, push and hold on this on your view cube, and it makes it so much easier to use your smooth brush. If you don't, and you try to get a hold of this, you've got to be on the web, and it's kind of hard to get. It's so much easier just to grab and push on your view cube, and then the smooth brush will work much better for you. So clean that up, tap on it to unlock it, and we'll turn it over, hit it again, and I have my view set to turntable. So if you come in here to your view, you can turn the trackball and then you won't get stuck and you can just turn it over. All right, so let's go back to the front and I'm going to rotate it. Now if you want this a little bit thinner and that's thicker than you want, I mean that's simple as grabbing your gizmo Now I'm going to show you, this is a glitch in here right now. If you do a lot of stretching and squeezing, this is going to move on you. So hit your pivot, hit reset, and it'll go to the center. Hit your pivot again and you're good. Now you can squeeze this and stretch it, whatever you want to do. Now the next thing, if you want this in the center of the world, because it's probably not, hit the grid, and we're not in the center because you should be on the blue and the red right in the center of the X. We're in Gizmo, hit the Gizmo menu, move to origin, and now you're in the world where you should be, right in the middle. All right, so we can turn the grid off, and that's just so if you need to get this in the middle and use it that way. So that's method 1. I'm going to show you method 2 now, which is an easy one too. Use the box. We're going to add a box there. Let's get back to the front here. Validate it, and for this one we don't have to go as high. We could probably just do 500 to be fine, and remesh it. A couple different ways you can do this. You can use the layer brush, and you can just lay out your web, and we'll just do like a corner web if you want. Or if you want to do a little bit more layout and figure out exactly how you want it to look, you can use the paint and just pick a color, and black's fine. So you can just do, you can put your lines on here and kind of figure out where you want to go. Now, this is looking a little ugly, and I'm just doing this something really quick. But this is just so you can kind of see your layout and see if this is what you like. And if it's like, hey, then that's fine. I'll just clean it up on the layered lines. So now you can hit layer, and if you use a black again, it'll be hard to see. But if you come in and change this to, maybe a red, so it's really off, and you can really see the difference in the colors. Now you can come in and do a little bit smoother lines. And if you want nice smooth lines, you can come in here, go to the bottom and do the stabilizer and put some, it'll make it nice, clean, smooth lines for you. But having the layout, then you don't have to focus so much on the direction you're headed. You already have a layout set up for you, and that's a lot of lazy rope, but that's okay. For these, I would recommend turning it down a little bit or off completely. That way it's a little bit easier, because you're going to be dragging halfway across to get them in. But then, it's easier to see, and it's just a nice trick to make your lines nice and smooth. And like I said, you don't have to focus so much on your pattern. You've already got it kind of laid out. And obviously here I'm not following it 100%. I'm just using the lines I had on there before just as a guide. And you know about the paint color, because we can always repaint this easy enough later in just a second. So this just makes it super easy to make a nice clean web. Now it's a little bumpy, and you have all those bumps in there. We'll trim that off right now. So you can trim and stretch this if you want. What I would do to make it a little bit easier to grab that is go ahead and just trim the bottom of this. Whoops, that's not the one I want. Let's try the rectangle. And just trim off the bottom, get it out of your way, get rid of that. And then you can grab the gizmo, and you can see once again, hit your pivot, reset, pivot again, and you can come in here and stretch this up a little bit just to make it a little bit easier to get a hold of if you want. I would probably go ahead and remesh this now just to help, and I would push it up a little bit. It's not as big anymore, so it'll remesh much faster. Okay, so then come in and grab your trim tool, and we'll just come down and trim this down nice and thin again. All right, gizmo, and that looks pretty good. So you can smooth this again. I would recommend locking it because this is definitely way more open than the other one was. Just smooth this up real quick. Tap it, bring it over. All right, so that's good. And then all you have to do is just come up to paint and go, I would just go to white, paint all, and there you go. Same thing, come up to your material, hit blending, and change your opacity. Now the cool thing with this is now that you're done with that, you can grab your move brush and change the size up, and then you can just kind of start tweaking things around if you want. And you can do the same thing with the other one. There it is. That's 2 easy ways to make 2 different kinds of webs. Hey, if you guys are enjoying these tutorials and you're learning something, please like and subscribe, and I will see you next time. All right, thanks.